Hey guys, what's up? And here's another video about monsters and memories. Developer summary for the past video that I find very important. However, it was uploaded 9 days ago. I have a more recent video that I made for you, as you already know. But this one is in regards to the video called Happy St. Patrick's Day. Like I said, was posted 9 days ago, covers a lot of different topics, and I decided to go a little bit in the past and do a summary video for you like I always do and like I promised to do. So here you go. Enjoy. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe. I'm planning to cover this game extensively. I'm planning to be in the playtest that's happening this weekend. If you don't know how to sign up for the playtest and you would like to participate, I will leave the link down below. Also, the link down to my Discord if you want to group up, find a guild or whatnot, just talk about the game in general, have a sense of community. Please find all the links attached underneath the video in the description. Now let's dive right into it. He starts off with thanking viewers for tuning in and mentioning that this may be the only stream of the week due to it being his birthday week. However, we already had another one because this is a video about the past stream that he had. He's planning a short getaway with Jasmine. I'm assuming it's his wife. After adjusting some music, the host engages with chat, thanking people for their follows and greetings. Then he briefly discusses his focus for the stream, continuing work on NPCs and population, particularly setting up NPCs with abilities and faction settings. The host also mentions how the term encounter tables still sticks with him after 20 years, highlighting his experience in game development. He goes on about mentioning some off-stream progress, including working on islands that won't be showing until later. They're like surprises for us, for players. He talks about making NPCs, hooking them to spawn points, modifying their encounter settings. He also expresses his discomfort with doing data work on stream, as it requires concentration that's not ideal for live audiences, but he acknowledges the necessity of the task. Later, he addresses a question about resource gathering and crafting, confirming they've hired a new designer for trade skills and that improvements are underway in this area. He also gave reassurances to viewers about the game's stability ahead of a surprise stress test, which already happened, I assume. I didn't participate, unfortunately. I recently only found out about this game. As the stream progresses, he talks about various in-game mechanics like house ownership, housing instances, renting properties, and how different gameplay features are developing, including furniture placement and property permissions. He also talked about acknowledging that there are players who like the trading element in chat. They like to actively participate in chat to trade their items, as well as those people who like auction house. So they're gonna have both of the worlds. Basically, you can rent a stall where you can set up a shop, put the little boxes, little items on a little counter and sell them that way, as well as trade in chat, etc, etc. So it's very cool. I really like this idea. I really miss Bazaar from EverQuest. I really miss my house from Ultima Online, where people would line up like at 9 in the morning. They would know that I would be there on the weekends, back when I used to go to junior high school. And already at 9 in the morning, I would have a lineup of like 20 people trying to buy my goods, my swords. I was a GM smither. Then he talks about potential future updates, such as possibility of adding man-eating sharks and sea serpents in the game, and notes that certain areas like the Night Harbor will feature predefined housing locations that players can rent. He explains some features around renting and how players can set up their shops or displays in the game world. When discussing housing mechanics, he confirms that while houses are not instants, players can rent specific plots and there are various property ownerships rules in the place. There's also a conversation about limitations on property ownership and the ability to share or rent spaces in the game world. The host mentions that the current plan is for limited number of properties per account, and this could change based on future needs. Then throughout the stream, he keeps talking. He has keeps the conversation lighthearted, answering questions about gameplay, offering updates, interacting with viewers. He also reminisces about his favorite 80s movies, reflecting on classics like Flash Gordon, Logan's Run, sharing personal thoughts and fun facts on some actors like Dolph Lundgren. In later part of the stream, he engages with the viewers about their experience with other MMOs, particularly Pantheon, mentioning that his main focus right now is the playtest for M&M and various updates to in-game areas. The host ends with further casual chatter, addressing questions about potential encounters in the world, confirming that there will be a variety of challenge levels for players. He talks about cooldown and Playmaker abilities. He discusses how different encounters may force players to use abilities more than usual, particularly the cooldown abilities of classes with a focus on Playmaker roles. They mentioned that the setup of the class system greatly influences these decisions and how it may vary based on specific encounters. Then he talks about Summoner class. There's appreciation for the design of Summoner spells where players summon projectile objects and use them as attacks. Super cool. The speaker is considering playing as a Summoner in the future sessions depending on availability. He talks about dungeon difficulty. The group debates the intensity of dungeons. Some believe that dungeons should be high action, while others argue that dungeons can be cozy depending on the situation. Certain parts of a dungeon, like breaking or maintaining a camp, may require more strategy, while others might feel more relaxed once a rhythm is established. I totally agree with this stuff. Like all kind of dungeons in Pantheon for now feel the same. They feel exactly the same. So it's, you press the same buttons, you do the same things, you sit in the same place. He talks about group dynamics. The conversation emphasizes how the group's playstyle affects the stress level of the game, particularly in terms of efficiency and pace. A group that focuses on quick pulls and efficient gameplay may experience a more stressful session compared to a more relaxed group. We all know from EverQuest that's exactly how it goes. Nothing really new here, which is awesome. Then he talks about NPC creation and factions. There is a discussion about creating NPCs and setting up faction names. He also talks about working on setting up NPC spawn points, discussing level ranges and the settings where this takes place. He mentions that the area ranges from the teen levels to the late 40s and have several zones for different levels of content. Later on, he goes on about character classes for new players. Somebody asks him about good classes for newcomers to MMORPGs. He suggests that pet classes like Elementalists are easy for beginners. Tanks are discouraged due to the high pressure role that they play in groups. The importance of not overwhelming new players is also highlighted, with advice on acclimating them to the game, to the world, and to the controls. He talks on about Inquisitor class. There's a discussion about why the Inquisitor class is less popular in stress tests. He also suggests it might be due to the class being a hybrid enchanter tank, which some players might not be familiar with. There's also mention of how players tend to gravitate towards classes they know. He talks about Bard class and armor. There were questions that were raised about whether bards will be able to wear better armor and leather in future updates. He says and notes that that this has not been discussed recently, but the options can be explored if needed. He gave general advice to new players, suggested that new players use the quick start guide to help them navigate the game, which is available on the game's website. I will also leave it in the link down below, guys. That resource could be beneficial for those familiar with MMOs, but pretty much all of us are familiar. Hopefully we get some fresh blood into the genre, and then they would need to use that guide, but I'm pretty sure everybody by this time knows about MMORPGs. Overall, the conversation was focused on game development, class mechanics, and how different playstyles and encounters shape the overall experience. He talks more about cooldown and Playmaker abilities. These abilities give players the opportunity to use more resources than usual during specific encounters. However, the use of these abilities ultimately depends on how the developers, especially Nick and his team, design the class mechanics. He plans to play it, but depends on what his friends decide to play. He goes on about talking about fame, death, success, failure ratio. The group is curious about the success and failure rates of fame death, the mechanic in the game. They suggested asking Nick for clarification or checking the Discord for more information. There's also mention of discussion that took place about that mechanic. Then he goes on about NPC design and ask for opinions on an outfit they've made for one of their NPCs. Though there is concern about the outfit's appropriateness without the ability to adjust certain layers like base layers or undergarments. They also mention they might summon an NPC to test out some designs. A small discussion about faction names follows, where he admits they chose a faction name that might be too long, mentioning they were a bit too fried when making the choice. The faction's name won't be too much of a secret, as players will discover it once they interact with or kill members of that faction. Then the conversation slightly shifted towards casual chatter. Users, his viewers commented on how the speaker's kids seem older and bigger than others their age, which leads to a discussion about their development and the speaker sharing a light moment with their children. He talked about clothing customizations. There's mention about NPC outfits, like choosing an appearance and undergarments again, and an idea to adjust NPC's gear to fit the desired aesthetic. The discussion continued with the concept of faction and NPC naming and clothing customization. They went on and on about it. Then they had some playtest questions. Their questions about playtesting. He confirmed that the areas being discussed will be a part of playtest, and that players will be able to interact with the new mobs being created. The content in the area will be appropriate for various levels, but their main focus mostly on teens to 30s. They talked about sneaking and rogues. There's discussion about the role of rogues and sneaking. It's noted that sneaking is an aspect of rogue class, but it is not their entire function. There is also a lighthearted moment where a speaker mentioned a discussion about rogues wearing paper armor, which is a playful way of stirring up conversation. He talked about underwater wisps. He mentioned about wanting to see an underwater wisp, referencing NPC design, and teasing the possibility of creating one in the future. There's a bit of playful interaction, and they check on NPCs and discuss how duplicate certain NPCs to add more variety to the game. And that's pretty much it. This particular stream covered a lot. Hopefully this saved you guys 5 hours of your time, and hope to see you in the next one, guys. Enjoy this video. Please hit that like and subscribe. I don't ask for much. If you want these videos to keep coming, I really need you guys' support. This takes a lot of time to combine and to put together and give it to you as a summary, guys. Thanks again. See you on my Discord. See you in the game world. Super exciting times are coming, guys. Peace out.